Hi everyone, this is my initial run on DFFOO Global Love, the Melody of Courage Lufenia stage, which is Edward's last chapter, and I will be providing a little bit of voice commentary on the strategy here, which I highly recommend as a very good strategy, particularly for this stage, because first of all it circumvents a lot of the mechanics because it's a no boss turn run, and you can very easily meet the turn requirement here, and this stage has a very tight turn requirement of 50 turns. I've seen other people with this party comp that has turns up down to 6 turns total. Overall, I took about 15 turns, I think, in total to complete this stage, so my run is not optimized, but you can also see that there's actually a lot of room here for mistakes and so on, and you can actually just take your time and take additional turns if you need to. So a little bit about the setup here. I just had everyone with every passive equipped, so I did not remove any speed passives at all, which makes setup quite easy. I would recommend having burst either on Terra or Lightning. Either should work, and it is also likely possible to do it without burst mode as well, but having burst really makes the run faster, mainly because also that you get the benefit of the burst aura, which makes a huge difference in this party comp because there is no aura bot support between the 3 party members. So first of all, so getting set up at the start is quite important. I set a Cater call on Young, and you don't need Cater to be fully built, just her 15 CP should do. Cater call provides Young a 4-turn ice enchant on himself, and because he does a follow-up attack after every turn, Young alone will be able to upkeep the orb throughout the entire fight. So the strategy that I took here is to immediately go burst mode on Terra on her first turn, as you can see, and the idea for this is so that Lightning can then benefit from having Terra's burst aura effect in play. The gist of it is that from 100 to roughly 49%, I will be mainly using Lightning as the key DPS. So I will be hogging all the turns with Lightning, burning all her LDs and her additional ability just to give her more turns, as well as maximizing the damage that she can do. The reason for that is when I come to the final phase of the fight, which is below 49%, I will be swapping out Lightning, and she will never be coming back in again once she is swapped out. So there is no point on saving skills on Lightning or being conservative with her. Just go all out and use as many skills as you can. As you can see, I've also set a Garland call on Lightning, and that's mainly to inflict his frame debuff that increases HP damage by 10%. Alternatively, you can also use an Ignis Call because he also has the 10%. And Ignis Call, I think, will actually be better because he will also inflict Fire Enchant and Imperil, which will allow everyone to also hit for weakness damage. Unfortunately, I don't have Ignis Call, so I have to make do with the Brunt. And on Terra, I set a Jack LD call, which I think doesn't need any explanation. It's a good defense debuff that increases the damage that you do. So coming to Lightning here, you can see that she does quite a lot of damage because Terra's burst effect provides a hefty Brave Regen and damage up effect, which means that even though I don't have any aura bot in play, more or less Lightning caps out on every attack that she does. And to really make use of this, so I just go ham with her. You can see that I just alternate between her consecutive 3 turns, and right here when it's over, rather than allow the other characters to take their turns, I just go into her next LD again. And essentially here I'm just spamming LD into the 3 free turns using EX whenever it's up. And if I want to make sure that she gets another free consecutive turn after that, sometimes I use her additional ability to reset her turn again. Now the main reason why I don't let the others take their turn is mainly because I just want to keep the turn count low. If lightning takes majority of the turns, most of her turns are free turns. If you want to keep the turn count lower, you can also use her LD during one of her free turns so that her LD itself doesn't take a turn count. However, I'm not too fast about that, which is why my turn count ended up around the 15 or 16 turns mark. If you don't mind the turns being a little bit higher, what you can also do here is just play Lightning's rotation normally, meaning that you don't refresh her LD until her overhead buff count is lower, and that would mean allowing Terra and Young to have their turns as well. That's perfectly fine. The only thing you need to keep count of is Kader's call aura on Young. You really want to try not to let it run out. So if you see Kader call coming to 1 or 2 count, that's when you really need to ensure Lightning and Terra hogs all the turns. But if Kader call is still healthy and you don't really mind the turn count being higher, you can just do turns normally, allow Terra and Young to act. It shouldn't be any issue. The boss should never get a turn. I guess as you can see here, I've delayed their turn so much that their turns are not even appearing on the turn order bar. Right, so the reason why I popped my summon here is really only because I ran out of Lightning's LD and I wanted to try to keep the turn count low, so I popped the summon to get a few more additional free turns to try to bring them down to 49% before I swap Lightning out. On hindsight, I think what would be better is to bring in the friend support and use the friend support BT attack before popping summon, because that way you can then use the friend that you set inside the summon mode as well, which I think is particularly important if you use Bart's friend support, because Bart's BT aura requires 3 turns of Bartz to get the full effect of 3 stacks of BT aura. And that means that if you pop summon, at least you get a few more turns with Bartz, and you can ramp up his BT aura inside the summon mode without increasing the turn count too much. So I'm just about to swap Lightning out here. You can see she's run out of LD. I can still actually just continue the rotation because Terra's burst effect is still up, but really there's no need to. The boss is quite low and Terra's LD will be able to finish up the bosses. So at this point, I'm just burning all of Lightning's additional ability here because they do some little bit of damage due to Young's follow-up attack. And here I bring in my Garland friend support and activate Garland's burst. You don't need to use Garland. The friend support is very flexible. What you want is a friend support with a BT weapon that has a strong BT aura attached to it. So there are multiple choices here. Garland is a very good choice, but otherwise Paladin Pecil also has very good auras, especially if you also allow him to get a turn to use his LD after that. Or you can also consider Bartz, which is also very strong. He has a very strong party auras, he has a good overhead with his LD, and his BT aura is very strong on the condition that you allow to build to 3 stacks for Bartz. The good thing about using a Bartz friend support is that you can also combo that with a Fujin call on one of your other party members, which will then allow you to hit for weakness damage through the Wind Imperil that Bartz has. Anyway, coming back to the fight here, so I allowed 1 round of turns to lapse because I wanted Garland to use his LD once, and also to allow some time to build Garland's BT aura to 5 stacks. So I did waste a couple of turns there. But once that's done, you can see I'm now coming to Terra's turn. She still has 4 of her LD still intact, and really pretty much at this point is the end of the fight. At this point I'm just spamming LD into Meteors. The Meteors do a lot of damage, mainly because I have Garland's BT aura in play, and because the Kader call effect is still up on Young, I don't have to worry about the Lufenia orb ever running out. Young will always do a follow-up attack here, which will increase the orb count by 8. And so there's a lot of room here. The good thing about using lightning in the first half of the fight is her constant breaks and delay from her EX has really pushed the boss's turn so far back that they are likely never to appear on the turn bar ever again. So at this point I'm only on turn 14. The fight allows up to turn 50. So really, even if you run out of Terra's LD, you can just take turns normally and finish off the fight that way as well. But with 4 of Terra's LD intact, it's really just spamming meteors until the end. One thing here that, another thing that I did to keep the turn count low is I used Terra's LD. So right here, she still has one more free turn on her LD, but rather than using Meteor, I just used the next LD. And that's only because her LD takes a turn. And if you use it during her free turn, you won't waste a turn using her LD. It does mean that I'm wasting one free Meteor, so there is a trade-off there. So it depends on what's important for you. If you're not really fast about having a few additional turns, you can just fully use the free meteors during her LD, and then reuse her LD taking one additional turn after that. I was really hoping to finish off the bosses during the free turns with Terra. I came very close, but unfortunately the last meteor didn't manage to finish it off. So I had to take one additional count here with Terra, and unfortunately finish them off as well. So I had to take one more additional turn with Young after that. So really I wasted 2 turns at the end, which brought my total turn count to 17. Anyway, that's it for this run. I hope the video has been useful. As always, if you enjoy the content, do leave a like, comment or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Lufenia fight. Bye bye.